So the actors are being paid, as I understand it, almost exactly what they were being paid when the channel made $0, had 0 subscribers, and they were contractors as opposed to employees, which isn't unusual, especially for that kind of field.
Yeah,
But
well,
as
you know how much that is? I looked at you off. I want to make some quick maths there. Did they ever release
Yes!
how much they're making?
Quick
How many
maths!
hours that they're working on? Because I watched a video and I couldn't take it at face value because I feel like there's a lot loaded in here that isn't being unpacked.
Dude, I love thinking that XQC is just taking this position because he's like an avid Darmon fan. And for no other reason. I don't think that's the case, but I do like thinking that. You know what I mean? He's like, no, I have to defend Darmon. Like, he is my favorite content creator.
Because maybe you know more than I do, so your opinion is more strong about it. Because when I look at it, right, with the info I'm given,
Can you provide context for the uninformed? Yes. Darmon is a massive, internationally successful YouTube content creator who's basically defined an entire genre on its own. Darmon makes like super easy to consume like videos that are very stupid. Okay, like they're incredibly stupid. As someone who crewed at Darmon, XC doesn't even know how bad it is crew side. We've only covered what it's like for the actors and not even crew side. It was literally a YouTube sweatshop for the crew. They only cared about views and zero care about the quality. Yeah. He appeals to those who do not speak native English language. So XQC, you are making a very good point. Hasan's HRT dealer. Maybe that's the reason why. He makes videos where it's like, you know, a bully, here's what happens when a bully goes too far and then the bully's victim turns around and like flexes on them with wads of cash. It's incredibly stupid. Lost half his brain in the divorce. And I mean, that's like that. By the way, the thing that I explained to you is a real video starring SSS Sniper Wolf. So if you want to check that out on your own time, you can do so. Anyway, turns out he, shockingly, is not paying his actors or his crew all too well. Now, this is a common practice for YouTube channels in general. It's common practice for the internet space in general. But it's additionally weird for Darmon because, like, one, he has, I guess, cultivated like an overall positive outlook. Like, people perceive him as like a positive person, which I don't know why, but like if you watch his content, it's like kind of odd to think that. But overall positive image, yes. But also because like he makes a lot of money, not just on his YouTube videos that are insanely successful, but also a lot of money on merchandise and a lot of money on, it's like a relatively low budget operation that churns out a fuckload of money because like they're repurposing it on, wait, this is the best gift from Darmon.
Oh my God.
No, this is not a Darmon video. This is a Darmon wannabe clip. Anyway, we're not going to cover that. Yeah, he makes a lot of views. He makes a lot of money and generates a lot of views on Facebook as well.
I could not come to the same conclusion as you.
No, so you mean like actual figures? Have they released their salaries?
Yeah.
No. And as far as how much they're working, you can only speculate. But since Darman uses the same actors and contracts them as opposed to puts them on payroll, you can kind of extrapolate that since...
Look, this is some of the videos. Black lady mistreated by her boss. What happens next is shocking. Male boss treats female employees unfair at work. He lives to regret it. Evil boss mistreats his worker. Mean bosses mistreating employees. They live to regret it. And like, look at the views. Like 12 million, or 5 million, 11 million, 20 million. And then another 100 million on Facebook.
For example, Colin, who plays Steve in most of the content, I think he's been in roughly like at least, and this is a ballpark, like 40% of his videos in some capacity. That's still a lot of hours. Like that's a decent chunk of hours. And he is not getting paid the standard that an actor working those hours would be paid. And the reason there's a protest is because they understand like they're not entitled to more money, though I think it's only fair given the work they put in, and as it's grown so much, Darman being in his position would want to take care of his actors. The reason they're protesting is because he refuses to even speak with them on their payroll and instead fires them if they bring it up, or dodges them since he's pushed their last 3 meetings and then just completely canceled the 4th. So the reason specifically for the protest isn't even the suboptimal pay, it's the fact that he will not even talk to them about it. And if you bring it up, you get fired.
Yeah, so I agree with that. I agree with that part. You know, the thing I agree with.
Why won't I debate critical on what we agree? Well, we would just be like sitting across from one another agreeing.
The other meetings, I mean, is shit. It's just trash because it feels like you're kind of baiting and stretching, right? Like you say, oh, a problem exists, let's talk about it, and you delay it while they're still working. So yeah, then I agree with that 100%. As soon as that happened, I said, yeah, that's shit because you shouldn't be doing that. Right. I just felt like it was hard to have the conclusion because what is this like LA based?
Yeah, so Darman Studios is LA based, yeah. So they have 3 sound stages in Burbank, I believe.
Okay. So it felt to me that, I mean, LA rent is I mean, it's a disaster. So I was like, okay, well, rent is probably really fucking high, right? And based on the hours, I mean, I saw a lot of employees over there. There was a lot, they protesting. A lot of them were over there, right? And I was like, well, if the concern is that they can't pay rent and they're contractors, right? I'm like, but the amount of people that are over there, how much hours could they be realistically be putting in? And I'd be like, well, of course you can't pay rent of the salary of this one YouTube channel's like intermittent appearances. I mean, that's there's not much you can do here. Like,
yeah. So I think I see what's going. I think you're under the impression that what they're looking for is a like full-time job salary to cover everything. As I understand it, that's not really the case. So all of these people, they are contractors. They're not employees. They're not allowed to be employees for Darman. But they have other job opportunities, I imagine, other income sources. But the pay that they're receiving from Darman is not industry standard, and it's not acceptable for the amount of work they're putting in. Like the amount of hours they're doing with their work for him is not being compensated fairly by Darman. That's where the issue stems from.
Well, makes sense. I mean, then that thing's the point. Say if they're contractors, did they agree to a contract? What happened in between What happened in between this time that they signed for something that they're going to be paid a certain amount for a certain amount of hours, and then what happened to why are they upset now? Is it because the channel is more successful and there's more money to be made, but they're not getting a portion of it that they think it's fair? I mean, in my opinion, the way I feel about it, if I'm coming into a job as a contractor, and they're telling me, hey, you're going to be paid $20 an hour, and you're working 8 hours a week, flat, right? So that's all I can offer you, right? And I say, yes, well, I have to come to terms with the fact that I'll be paid $20 an hour, 8 hours a week, flat, that's the end of the story, right? And if that's not adequate for me anymore, right, well, I quit.
Well, so that's the stage they're reaching. But they're not quitting, they're getting fired for trying to negotiate. So as this has scaled up, the productions have scaled up, he's releasing multiple videos a week, their hours have scaled up, but their contract...
So he hit him with a classic, well, they paid they signed a contract, like, suck it up. You know what I mean? Which, you know, you can renegotiate, and you should be able to renegotiate. And if you're not able to renegotiate and you get fired, then I think it's valid to, you know, be upset about that.
And their pay haven't reflected the extra work that's going into it. But instead of being able to talk about it to like negotiate a more fair pay, a better rate for their work, he's just firing them or refusing to talk to them.
Well, I didn't see that. I wish there was like a video explaining that. So, from what I saw, I think this comes from a position where you know more than the video that's on. Because what I'm getting in the video, I don't have enough to make these conclusions. I just don't. Like even the guy talking.
Wait,
what?
Saying,
Why? I don't agree with
it
at face value.
About so when he says like we're taking on all of these hours, we're taking on these jobs for Darman, but we can't afford to even have this like help with our rent, that's not like an alarming thing for you to hear. Because I think even just taking it at face value, it's like, you would think for something this successful with this many appearances throughout all of this content that's generating this level of income on the back of their talent that's been there since the start, you would think that they'd be on some kind of good payment system, right? Like, wouldn't you try and draw that conclusion? Like, for example, this is a stupid comparison, but I'm going to go big here. And I think for Darman, it's kind of fair. Someone like Steve is a star, in the same way that Robert Downey Jr. was a star for Marvel. Would you expect him to be working for the same pay as that continued to scale up as he was at the beginning? Because I think the answer should be no.
Oh, that was complicated.
He's right, and he should say it. Steve is the Robert Downey Jr. of the Dharma. Dude. Has XC worked in his life? Yes, he has. Yeah, he's actually done more than the average Twitch streamer has, surprisingly. This motherfucker had didn't he have what did he have? I think he had a commercial driver's license, maybe even? No. He was a janitor, and he was forklift certified, yeah.
Complicated. Wait, the what?
Darman's content has been built off the back of the same actors and actresses at the same rate without ever scaling.
Bro, this dude is Okay, Charlie, you are a communist, okay? You better fucking dial it back a little bit. This motherfucker's moving into my territory saying Darman's content has been built off the back of his laborers. What the fuck? You have nothing to lose but your chains? What are you saying right now? What kind of fucking... What is this? Bro, chill. Okay, dial it back, Charlie. Calm down, okay?
Scaling up as everything else is scaled up.
You don't see me making fucking penis jokes, like eloquent penis jokes about, I don't know, some other fucking TikTok drama every goddamn day, okay?
Much in the same way that Marvel scaled up from Robert Downey Jr., thus they needed to pay him more as things went on and his hours increased, his workload increased. That's just the way things work as they grow.
Okay, no. That is not, okay, so that is a terrible comparison. Sorry to cook you on this one.
Jess is more humble than you, socialist. Yeah, exactly. Which I know you think is like, I assume you're joking, right? Or maybe you made that like as a serious own. But like, you know, we both know that he is worth a lot more than me.
Because that's what we call... And
it's funny though, because like a lot of people would probably say that. Like they'd be like, dude, Charlie fucking doesn't spend his money like you do, you fucking idiot. And it's like, dude, he has spent like $1 million on fucking Yu-Gi-Oh cards, no? Like, no, I'm making that number up, but like, and also he can if he wants to. He is a lot more wealthy than I am. He's been a YouTube legend for a fucking decade. He owns an esports team.
In that,
but they can't do that. They can't because he's shutting it down. Exactly. He's firing them.
Well, I mean, they have no leverage. That's how it is. Of course, Robert Downey Jr., if he shows himself to be a better actor, he's more needed. So therefore, he can only get a certain roles per amount of year. So his value, right, it increases. So then he can use the other films as leverage, right, against his current person that wants him to stay and say, yo, dude, if I spend my time over there, I'd be making double money. So I'm worth this much right now, right? If you want to pay that, you can pay that, right? Otherwise, I'm not working here anymore, right? These guys have no leverage, right? He could, a jar man on paper could literally go to Craigslist and get anybody show up for fucking $80, right? And that person will show up and will do the work that these guys are putting in, and will probably get the same amount of results.
Yeah, I mean, he's literally okay. So XUC is making, dude. This is why, one, capitalism is inherently right wing, and two, everyone without even recognizing it sees it as the default position, because what XQC is advocating for currently is just that this is low skill labor. The value of your labor is dependent on how replaceable you are. Okay. He probably doesn't even realize that he's saying that. You know what I mean? But it's just like, it is quite literally just the most basic concept that we have internalized without even thinking about it. If you were to turn around and like flip the script on him and be like, you are a contracted laborer for Twitch, you could make an argument to help him understand a little bit better too.
Results with the amount of the quality of acting that is in those videos. We've done that.
This is why I hate how generous you are with people like AC. Okay, this is why I'm right and you're wrong. You have to be generous because he is not a bad person overall. Most people are not evil, even if they are like even if they are unintentionally or intentionally advocating for a style of governance that you have declared to be evil, okay? We are products of our environment.
Yeah, but that's also
Yes,
not
he
the
isn't malicious. He's indoctrinated. Exactly.
point. Like he could find 15 high school students to do it for free, but does that make it right or fair to the actors? That's more the argument, not so much like can it get done with people that are lesser.
Okay, this will be like an exploitator behavior answer. I think that's still fine. If they say they want to do it, and say yeah, then fuck it. It's like if I'm unpacking something in my car, so he said, and some fucking, I don't know, some like adolescent shows up, like 16-year-old dude is like, hey, you need help with that? I'm like, yeah, right? I mean, he agreed to help for free, right? I mean, I don't owe him shit. Even if though I made him lift the fucking
XQC describing literally how like the entire third world and social democracies exist. Okay? He's just like the mentality that he is describing is unironically one that is such a permanent staple in our lives, whether we recognize it or not, which is just, yeah, you know, it's making the labor aristocracy live a life of ease and comfort.
diamond worth 20 mil, I have to pay him shit, right? If somebody agrees to do something for a certain rate or something, which is
It's in every capitalist nation, not just social democracy. Yes, you are right.
I mean, yeah, I'll take it. I mean, when I was a kid, I did acting for some college students like 4 times for free. They only like give me fucking like a lunch, something like that. I agreed to that. I was okay with that. I didn't feel scammed. That's kind of how I feel about it. And if I were to go into a contract with certain hours, like if these guys were like let on.
Okay, that's why pay is supposed to scale, right? Like, that's why Steve deserves more of a percentage of the profits that he's generating than like some guy who's just coming in. Now, the base pay should be higher regardless. That can always be elevated depending on what what the product is, depending on what the output is, right? But it's perfectly understandable and reasonable to which is what the argument Charlie was making, improve your pay as the product scales and as you know your experience in the workforce scales. So comparing that to like, you know, someone just like taking on a free role in a movie or whatever for the memes is not correct, because this is Steve's job and livelihood.
And they would be paid more, and they got scammed. It's a whole different ballgame. But they agree to something, they don't agree. If they got promised something that the employer doesn't, and they don't agree with the pay anymore, well, that's on them.
Well,
Right?
yeah, but at this point you're making arguments for finding like the lowest possible payment for the same work. Like at this point you're like almost making a sweatshop argument. Like why pay for these workers when I can just pay like almost nothing for these workers? It's not like, I mean, the work gets done, but I mean, is a sweatshop a good thing?
Okay, that's not a good thing. The government protects in this country against sweatshops.
No, it
right?
doesn't.
The government
No, it
stuff.
doesn't. No. You would think. One would think that it does.
That goes. It's why the sweatshops exist. Is that they go into other countries where laws are different, and then they zone it out, and then people work under circumstances, under pay, under hours that wouldn't fly in the United States, right? But we are in the United States.
Nope, that's not the case. Nope. Nope. Bro, Hyundai had a facility in Alabama where there were 12-year-olds working on the assembly line, okay? 12-year-olds. It's not a joke. 12, 13, and 14-year-olds were working on the assembly line in a Hyundai facility inside of the United States of America in Alabama. What do you mean when? Like 2 months ago, brother. He said when. What, you think I meant like fucking 1876? What? Oh, and then more, a Reuters special report found that child workers were found throughout the Hyundai Kia supply chain in Alabama. Not just one facility, but multiple facilities. At least 4 major suppliers of Hyundai Motor Co. and sister Kia Core have employed child labor at Alabama factories in recent years. Yep.
in his case, right? So they are protected by certain things, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's definitely protections in place, 100%.
So I just don't feel like, without getting the exact numbers, that I can take these guys' arguments.
The very conversation that XQC's having with Charlie right now would never even exist if there were adequate protections for labor in this country, which is kind of funny, but we've already like given up on that notion. Kids at meat packing plants as well, of course. Like this would not even be a point of consideration if we had adequate labor protection in this country. No one would be like literally fucking going, "Oh man, I really don't." I'm not saying workplace disputes would not happen, but like very clearly the fact that like contracting of this sort for like permanent employees where they're not being adequately compensated is a point of contention, is a point of conversation, is an implication that it's not working, that it doesn't exist.
At face value without like actually seeing at least some sort of data and then making conclusions is very bad. I feel like this is like, I don't know. Except for the part where he doesn't show up to meetings, which I think is fucking lame as shit. Okay, I feel like I've done the same by accident or because of lack of professionalism to my editors. Where I've like I said, "Yo, yeah, I'll be around like in a minute," and then I don't talk to them for like a day, a week, sometimes fucking 2 months. I talk to them, these motherfuckers. But you know, bro, that's like lack of professionalism, right? Like it happens sometimes. Like I don't think it's a massive problem. Okay, but I'm not putting myself in the equation. I just feel like, except for that part, which is bad, right? It's bad. It's bad.
Wait, what did I miss? What did he say?
I don't think it's a massive. Bro, that's like lack of professionalism, right? Like it happens sometimes. Like I don't think it's a massive problem. Okay, but I'm not putting myself in the equation. I just feel like, except for that part, which is bad, right? It's bad. It's bad to not show up to your meetings and be baited like that. I fail to see what the problem is.
So
Professionalism.
I'll try and like gauge this a little more something like in this wheelhouse. You mentioned editors. Do you have the same editors now as you did when you, let's say, do you have the same editors now as you did last year?
I've had one editor from when the channel was nothing to something, and I hired somebody. I had on top, now I have two, and the new guy has taken the something to something greater because of combined workload and different.
Oh, he said he forgets to pay his editors sometimes for 2 months. Okay, to be fair, I'm very bad at responding as well. I like
philosophies, right? So now we have two, but they've been there pretty much for the whole ride. When it was making nothing, to a little bit, to a lot, right?
So the guy that started when you were nothing, is he being paid right now what he was when you were making nothing?
Oh, he's being paid more with a agreed upon adaptive pay of 15%.
Okay, but you see like how that pay has increased, and he's been there from the beginning as it grew. Like you see that.
Yeah, but that's because that okay. So like I said, it's adaptive.
POV, you're an XQC editor and you haven't heard from your boss in months. I love their operation, dude. It's fucking awesome.
Right? Because I want them to be motivated to do more and do better, and to like keep up with like in the industry and how it's going. Like if they work more, they're paid more. I feel like this is a different ball game. These people are contracted to show up for something, and they do it very that, right?
Borger, don't say that. You usually respond in a day or two. 2 months is crazy. Okay, chill, dude. I have a reputation to uphold as one who starves his editors, okay? Morally bankrupt. As a morally bankrupt phony.
Okay, so bad by like our definitions of the acting is cringy, but they are doing exactly what they're paid to and exactly as directed. Steve, Colin.
Which this is funny though, because like Charlie already made the argument and XQC already acknowledged that like, yeah, their pays have scaled. You know what I mean? Like, so you get it. You understand. You already do it.
He is an.
But he also said that like He also basically said that he is he also basically said that like he previously agreed upon it. Well, okay, that's the point. Like you should agree upon it. You know what I mean? You should like the Darman universe hasn't. That's the problem.
An actor outside of Darman. He's been in Better Call Saul. He's had minor roles in bigger things. Like he is an actor.
Okay.
Like they are doing the work as they are supposed to do it, the way they're supposed to do it. They're not doing a bad job. It's not like he's docking their pay because their performance is bad. Sorry, I had a burp in my mouth. Like they are doing exactly what they need to be doing. So this isn't a matter of like them being bad at their jobs.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So if the guy, so this guy has Better Call Saul tier jobs and other ones, and then he still works for the Darman cringe guy, right? Then why doesn't he quit that job if his time is more valuable now?
Well, I mean, they're getting fired because they're trying to negotiate. Like, as it grew, they are proud of the work. They were there from the beginning. Colin told the story about how original Darman videos were filmed at his apartment complex in a garage, this and that. And then as it grew, they wanted to stick with it because they felt like part of the team, part of the family. It's reached the point where over the last however long, they've tried to...
Like, one thing I'll mention is my editors, one of them is in the chat right now, weren't as good now, and they're fucking incredible now, right? I think everyone acknowledges that, and everyone recognizes that. My editors weren't as good when we first started working together. Like, my channel wasn't that good. We were just growing together. And I think, like, there is value. There is a lot of value to, like, retention of that sort, even from a capitalist perspective. You know what I mean? Like, and that gets lost in a lot of instances. Like, yeah, I could fucking, you know, the editing is you know, it can be a very artistic job, as I think, like, especially in my field, I need someone who has like similar perspectives on the world, you know what I mean, who can like cut through the content and find like the perfect moments and turn it into like readable, turn it into like digestible 20-minute bits, you know what I mean? And that's not super easy, but like ultimately it's still editing, right? Plenty of people in the HasanAbi Clips Industrial Complex do it. But I think that the content would suffer if I didn't have such long-term, committed, consistent, and very good editors who like keep basically you know, moving the needle, keep pushing the boundaries, keep making better and better content overall. You know what I mean? I thought the job of your editors was to get you in hot water. No, it's not.
To negotiate better pay because they're putting in so much more work, so many more hours.
Fair enough.
Obviously,
You know
the product is a lot better, but he's not letting them negotiate. Instead of adjusting pay or listening, he's firing them, like on the spot, just firing them.
Fair enough. Okay, then okay. You know what? Fuck it. I have a different argument that will maybe make you feel like it. Scaling up could be a problem. But scaling down. What happens if Darman gets canceled or some shit, right? Because he I don't know, he pierced allegedly somebody's car a tire with a piece of glass, okay? And then now the channel, okay, makes 2K views a month. Should their pay be scaled down?
That'd be a negotiation between them and the actors. That'd be a communication thing. Yeah, that'd be entirely up to them. But so, for example, let's say you have a colossal fall off. You get canceled. Your fucking nutsack butthole pics leak on Twitter, whatever. You get canceled. Your channel's not making anything anymore. Are you gonna stop paying your editor?
Well, the pay's adaptive. So I mean, if they want to work, they can. But I mean, they'll be editing hour-long videos for like 20 cents an hour on average. So I mean, they will quit, and they should, right? They should. They should leave me to dry, because that's how the world works, right? We agree to something, and it currently works for both of us.
This person, I have a feeling XP doesn't pay his editors well. You are wrong. The Twitch streamers, at least that I've encountered, are very you will see editor pay drama at like lower scales on Twitch when people are like growing and stuff. I myself, as you guys famously know, had a brief stint on that too, but no, it's not. Most Twitch streamers are, they're paying pretty well, including XQC.
So it doesn't work anymore. Well, now they quit because they're not paid anymore. They should throw me under the bus in terms of like.
That's why it's funny, because he's like, yeah, such a good person, dog. Motherfuckers debate lording pro-slavery. Yeah, he's doing that while simultaneously he's paying his editor as well.
Financially, people that I hire, right? I expect them to throw me under the bus, right? When things get bad and go bad, the same way I expect myself to throw them under the bus when shit gets bad. I think it's called business. It's called business relationships.
But like when you say it this way, do you realize like the more you say things like this, the more it seems like you are legitimately having the same thought process as the people who end up using like sweatshops, slave labor, that kind of thing, right? You're looking for the cheapest way of getting the labor.
X's take seems to boil down to him believing their acting is bad enough to be easily replaced. Is super subjective calculation of their value that is also basically him arguing against his own interests, considering his job is also easily replace contracted talent. Yeah. No, exactly. Which is hilarious because like I make this argument all the time and people always make jokes about it because they're like, Twitch streaming is not work. Yeah, you're right. It isn't, which is why we are contracted employees that are paid insanely high, okay? But our output is still, higher than what we're getting paid, obviously. Like, that's just how it works. Twitch makes more money off of us than we do off of, being on fucking Twitch. So, ultimately, though, it is replaceable. It is certainly replaceable labor. It is, which is part of the reason why Twitch knows that and will often, make moves like cutting pay, especially when there is no competition in the streamer platform industry, like on the platform side of the industry.
Labor done in the quickest time possible without caring about like actually doing the work the right way, which is like the core problem, like the core
We're not employees,
issue,
sorry, independent contractors.
which is what the whole thing was about. Like, you are right. You could find it's fucking 12, 16-year-olds in the Darman cinematic universe to play these roles, and they do it for free. They do it for exposure. But that's not a good thing. That should never be the case. You should want to like pay the actors and the professionals the standard rate to do the work and do the work well. It's not an argument of can it be done cheaper? It's an argument of why can't we just do it the right way?
I agree, but if somebody agrees for a certain amount and they say, wow, I'm worth more money, well, I don't give a fuck. I don't want Leonardo DiCaprio a performance, okay? I don't want a better call performance from the guy in the video, David, whatever the fuck. I want Craig's level acting for Craig's level videos. And if they make a little more money, well, I took the risk initially, right? I'm the one who owns the business. I should own the profits.
There's no obligation for you to pay him more. But to at least hear them out as it's scaled up, like, hey, I'm putting in more.
Damn, dude. Homie is doing the business owner special right now. He said, I took the risk.
Work.
Bro, this could be a Ben Shapiro video.
Putting in more hours for the same pay as it was in the beginning. I would like to at least.
Like I said, the irony of this conversation is I don't think he underpays his editors. That's why it's like pretty funny that he is like taking the role of like the fucking rugged individualist business owner while he simultaneously doesn't even live by the values that he's supposedly espousing. That's what makes it funny overall.
Please talk about a pay raise, hearing them out, and then negotiating from there is how it should work. And it's not, which is a core issue here.
Is that how it works normally? Because I would have just blocked them. But it makes a lot of sense, though.
You sound like an absolute ruthless warlord out here. My heart is breaking for your editors. You're gonna have one bad month, and they're not gonna be eating for fucking 2 weeks. Good God.
Okay.
Jesus.
Okay. I was joking about that, but I feel like of course, when things are good, okay, and I'm happy with how things are going and how the creative, let's say, shift that I see, I don't mind giving a bonus to some of the editors, bro. I mean, I'm pretty sure I could be wrong about this. They those in chat, they go, hit my videos. He doesn't even fucking talk about penance anymore. So I'm pretty sure that all my second, third, fourth, all the other channels, he's paying himself. Okay, dude. So I don't think I've paid him for the main channel because he's paying himself with the other channels. Okay, and you know what? And that's fair game. Okay, that's fair. I haven't paid him. I'm not kidding. I haven't paid him for the main channel in forever because he's paying himself with the other channel, right? So what if he sometimes he does these new things like making new channels, doing other shit, and he creates value, right? And that's valuable. It's adaptive, right? They can do more, they can be smarter, and I'll give him a bonus, or I'll give more, and that's fine, right? But the problem I have with this is that, unfortunately, let's say, right, $100 an hour, right, 10 hours a week, a scam, right? Person will be making, let's say, no, $100, okay, $100 an hour.
I don't understand.
Right, for these dudes, let's say, okay, but I can only give them 4 hours a week. Okay, so they're paying $400 a week, which is in fact 1,600.
Wait, excuse editors make $400 a week? No shot. There's no shot. What? There's no way. There's no fucking way. That's a random number, I think, right? Yeah, I was gonna say there's 0% chance.
They live in LA, right? They can't afford rent. And then
yeah, you hear that? Burger motherfucker. Yeah, there you go, dude. There's motherfuckers out here making $400 a week, dog. Okay. You better fucking you better recognize your position in this goddamn industry. Yeah. Yeah. Economies hit all of us hard, okay? You better fucking watch out, dude. Market adjustment.
they're like, yo, bro, we can't afford rent. Well,
400 no shot because it's too low? Yes, dude. Are you fucking kidding me? Yes, it's too low.
if they agreed to 4 hours,
Fuck?
if they agreed to 100 an hour, 4 hours a week, then what can I do, right? They agreed to the terms and they agreed to the pay and the workload. They do that. They're paid. What's the problem? If you don't enjoy it anymore and don't want to do it anymore, we don't have to.
Well, even in your examples, like you're receptive. Well, except for the 2 times you threatened to block them, I guess you're receptive to.
Guys, but my point was like a lot of top level streamers. I mean, I can't speak for all of them, but at least the ones I do know are not paying industry rates. Like, don't be crazy. It's like, if you recall, Cutie Cinderella was upset at me at the time because like she was like, I don't have enough money to like compete with how much you're paying an editor that we were sharing at the time, Will. Like, and it's just. Actually, said his editors are balling out, so like I don't believe that. Yeah, no, I don't think. I think his editors are probably balling out for sure.
To hearing them, right? So if that guy came to you, he's like, hey, I was fine with this in the beginning, but now like I really can't afford rent and I am putting in a lot of.
He said he doesn't pay him editor. His editors pay themselves off his second and third channels. Low, probably a good amount of money. Yeah, they probably make a lot of money. XC explained that he pays editors around $30 an hour. This rate is very low. Industry standard will be closer. I fucking doubt that his editors get paid $30 an hour. You can put that on there. There's no shot. There's no fucking shot his editors. Second and third channel. Clips channel editor definitely needs a raise. What the fuck he's doing? XG kisses Nixie. Kisses Nixie's hand. Dude, what the fuck? People are so ready to jump on him, act like his obvious example isn't an example. People can't understand the way he speaks. Yeah, but don't worry. He's overall, people are very charitable to him, so I don't think anyone will get mad at him.
Could I maybe talk to you about an increase in pay? That is not happening right now with the Darman actors. They can't.
HasanAbi Production runs his channel too. Yeah, it turns out HasanAbi Productions is also XQC's editor, apparently.
Get to that step.
Well, at that point, dude's making a lot of money. His time is worth a lot of money, and he probably doesn't want to fucking deal with that shit.
If pay is increasing with value provided by the workers through labor, why should owners of a business not have a higher pay, since the financial investment clearly provides more value than the workers have yet provided? That's not how value works. There's no value without labor. If you have capital and it's just sitting there without labor, it's just nothing. It just depreciates. You have a depreciating asset. You get it? Oh shit, here we go. Not another fucking theory stream. I mean, that's not even, this is like very low level.
But I agree. I agree though. I didn't agree. That is at least I try to talk to them. Okay. Yeah, I don't really know. Like, let's say you work at Amazon and it's good pay. I'm pretty sure Amazon's good pay, isn't it? It's like decent, right? How much is Amazon an hour? Yeah. 15 to 20 bucks an hour. That's pretty good.
Maybe this Moist critical video will pay for my lunch. I'm 14 years old.
It's not. 1750.
I'm gonna throw you a little life raft here. I don't think Amazon is the best comparison for this situation. I'm just gonna be honest straight up. So let's dial it back more into like editing and stuff like that.
No, I know that's one of X's editors. I know. It's art.
I think that's going to be a lot stronger of a like platform to tackle it on. You have to also keep in mind, these people aren't just doing grunt work. They are the principal actors in his content. Without them, there is no content unless he finds other actors to replace them. But since he's using them, they are the reasons the videos exist. They're not playing some like behind the scenes role. They're a big part of it.
I'm actually quite surprised that Charlie does not immediately go to the replaceable labor. Like the value of labor is not by its output, should not be dictated by its output, but like how replaceable it is, because that it literally is fundamentally anti-capitalist. Like his argument is fundamentally anti-capitalist, and I'm unironically shocked that he doesn't even consider that. That is truly surprising, especially as a man from Florida in general, because that, like, what he's describing right now is a unique perspective. Straight up. Like, that's precisely why like XQC's take is normal, and I'm not even like shocked that he has it, because everyone usually has that take. He's teetering on the border of what some would call the top of the hour ad break, of course. At the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break. If you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe, which you can do for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime. By connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, you get one free Prime subscription a month. Or you can also get gifted a sub if you're lucky. Here's the 3-minute ad break now. That is very good. 410 didn't even make sense. Oh, it didn't make sense because you weren't here for the DJ Academics conversation. I was making a everyone thought I was going to say teetering on the edge of socialism, what some would call socialism.
So they should be able to at least
Moist critical, more like Maoist critical.
communicate with the person when it's like, hey, I'm putting in all these hours, I'm putting all this work, the pay hasn't changed at all, I'm still on like that very baseline, very underpaid rate that we agreed to in the beginning because, you know, we were both small together, but now we've both grown together. I'd like to at least examine this and see if, since I'm putting in all this extra work and, you know, we're in this good of a spot, maybe we could talk about some kind of better pay system.
Fair enough. In my answer to that, show up and say no.
So then it's kind of more of like a fundamental disagreement then, because I feel like the answer should be, sure, let's examine it, let's talk about it together, instead of just fire them on the spot because they asked.
Okay. I guess that'll be the only part that I don't agree with the whole thing. It's the fact that these guys have disagreements, and they won't be addressed. I think that is the only thing that because the rest of it, I have no data, I have no I have no, I guess not story, I guess timeline of things. I know nothing about any of this, and the video doesn't indicate me any of this either. It's like impossible to really understand the concern and take for face value, because I don't like believing in just what is said, right? Straight up. Like the guy says, yo dude, I'm not being paid, and the guy ends up being paid like $200 an hour, right? Like, I'm gonna feel like my take was wrong, and now I'm a dumbass. I have to, unfortunately, it's like guilty until proven innocent. Oh, I'll believe what he says, right? If I'm wrong about it, we'll have another take. Well, not really. I'd like to be given all the info that I need from the get-go, make a take, and be my take is final.
To me, this sounds almost more like you're afraid of looking silly if it turns out new information comes to light.
Of course, because I want to be in that position.
There's really nothing wrong of being in that position, though, as long as you're, like, willing to change. Like, that's a supernatural thing people go through. Like, for example, Helena Taylor.
Charlie. Nah, I disagree. Charlie, you disagree with yourself now. Okay? If you were half canceled overnight, the dumbest shit, the damage caused by what was said, you would never be able to recover past the point where you were. It would take you way more time, way more effort, way more strength and willingness to power through. You know for a fact, this is some shit about you, right? Okay, people say saying question mark. Okay, what about Johnny Depp then? Do you guys feel like his reputation went back to normal or better with his industry?
By the way, I can't, dude, the Johnny Depp thing is so funny because, like, is he gonna get fucking roles? Because he looks, don't eat my ass, but he looks kind of gross, bro. Every time I see him, my man looking hurt. I don't know what kind of fucking deal he made with the devil to, like, actually win a defamation suit in the United States of America, because you had to have greased the wheels of, like, Satan himself, because it is not easy to do. Okay, this is a very difficult thing to achieve in the United States of America, and now it feels like he's just. It feels like my man. It feels like my man actually is Jack Sparrow, and he just drowned. He looks like Johnny Depp after he became a drowning victim. You know what I mean? So I don't know what kind of fucking great. I don't know what kind of, like, roles he's going to get. I don't know what's happening in his life, but I feel like his career, I don't know if it'll recover, and it has nothing to do with the defamation.
And his bosses and with people.
That's a huge leap going from, like, hey, these workers, you know, I hope they can talk to their boss about a higher pay for all the work they've done when they're still not getting good pay, all the way to, like, a Johnny Depp situation. Like, that's a total
Johnny Depp is looking real. What are you talking? Oh, dude, this is my favorite type of person who's, like, followed the suit closely and, like, you know, developed, like, a parasocial relationship with Johnny Depp and now acts like Johnny Depp is, like, living his best life. It's like it's low-key my, like, secret consumption. Whenever I see people, like, post about Johnny Depp, I just, you know, I laugh by myself a little bit, where they're just like, they like developed a parasocial relationship with Johnny Depp, and now they're like, oh, look at how happy he looks, and they'll post a picture of him, and he just looks hurt. Okay, he just looks so hurt, like. I mean, do you keep tabs on Johnny? No, but I do keep tabs on like Johnny fans. Wait, what the fuck? Oh, no, this is 2018, man. You're wrong. This is not what. No, that's not what we're talking about. No. You haven't seen the latest Johnny Depp photos then. No. Like, he looked pretty good at the court case, right? And everyone was like, oh my God, he's so handsome. He's so handsome. And like every time I see photos of him in public, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Twink death, as they call it. Yeah, it's always like this. It's a picture, that link. Stop. My captain looks so damn good. Anyway, it's just like unrelated. I don't know what the fuck happened. I actually don't know what the fuck happened. Oh, yeah. Oh, come on. You didn't have to do it to him. I saw this. This is what I was talking about, dude. This is what I was talking about, dude. Oh, no. They said, my white man is safe. Anyway. Yeah, I know. He's 60.
Stream. Like, what you're doing right now is opining on a situation, not like actively participating. You're not the one that's like slapping the Darman actors while they're doing their protest or anything. Like, the fear of being proven wrong with later information seems to be like clouding the way you're approaching the problem itself, which is these people are doing more work now than they previously did and still getting suboptimal pay because they couldn't afford to pay them that much at the time. Thus, it didn't matter how much more work they put in, they're still getting the same pay, and anytime they bring it up, they get fired, which is...
It's funny because of how you would react if someone went on like that about you. Bitch, people go on like that about me all the time. It's also funnier to make fun of the people that are like acting like that's not the case. And people do that to me, to my face regularly, okay? Like, straight up. And you react like this, Pepela. I mean, that's it. You just, for no reason, came across like a weird depth stand.
It's just a straight up problem. And that's why it's become an issue. It's why none of
my
them
mods are making fun of me right now, saying that's you.
Because they've all been fired for bringing it up.
That's as far as this guy will say it. But has there been like data of that people say? Because that's a pretty big claim to say.
Oh, it's not one guy. It's every actor. So every principal actor from most of Darman's videos have been in these protests and have come out and said the same thing, corroborating all of it.
No way.
The only thing they haven't released is the salaries, because again, that's not information we even really need to know. The problem is they can't talk to him. So they're doing a protest because they want to be able to talk to him to negotiate that number. That's the whole purpose of it. They're mentioning the pay because, well, we want to talk to him about pay and he won't let us. So it becomes a talking point, but the actual figure isn't what they're rioting about. It's wanting that communication to talk about it instead of just being fired for trying to.
Yeah, I mean, I really see how that's a problem. So like I said, I think that's a problem. I feel like the conclusion people make from that problem, right? And going public about it just can sometimes cause a bit of damage, and I wouldn't want to be put in that position. That's all. But I agree that the wrong here is not talking, right? But I think that they're being assumed or talked about and without being proven, I think kind of suck. I think they just suck. He's saying, "Yo, guys, we're not paid enough. We're not this or that," right? I think it'd be pretty easy to show, right? They're gonna go public about how much it is, how much we're talking, industry standard. You put a context. Taking it for the story that it is, when you have all the ammo, it's like in an argument like this, it's like loading in your mag, right? That could have bullets.
Hey, Darmon fam. For background, we did arrange an in-person hour-long meeting with active representatives and 2 of our most senior leaders, including our head of production, in hopes of understanding concerns prior to any protests. During that meeting, the active representatives refused to communicate any concerns and instead walked out. More info in our stories. Darmon says he pays actors up to $33.44 per hour for speaking roles. In regards to actor compensation, we believe we pay our actors competitively compared to our peers. Our rates for actors vary. Extras receive $18 an hour, and speaking role actors receive $33 to $44 an hour. We are proud to have given thousands of actors job opportunities in the last year alone, paid millions of dollars in actors' compensation. The actors said they wanted Darmon, not a representative, though. Yeah, they did say that. They said that they just relegated us to HR. Actors by nature work for many different production companies. We offer project-based opportunities that vary from a few hours long to a few days. We do not offer full-time positions. We try to spread around opportunities and show a wide range of faces. Yeah, I think that's a cop out to say, like, that's not the reason. And also, it's not even true. Apparently, a lot of the actors are. So we have come to the conclusion that XQC is a very large fan of Darmon. No, because if XQC was a very large fan of Darmon, he would have taken valuable lessons from Darmon, such as, you know, boss treats their employees horribly. What happens next will shock you. Or the series of black woman gets yelled at her job. What happens next will shock you. Like, these are all, you know, pro-labor, pro workers' rights videos that XQC would have learned lessons from, valuable lessons from. All the details, including pay rate and length of the production, are specified in the offer letter, and the actor has the freedom to accept or decline the project. If accepted, actors are always paid shortly after production wraps, typically within 72 hours. Occasionally, we've stopped working with actors. This is typically due to conduct complaints from fellow actors, complaints from minor actors' parents, complaints from crew members, or an actor displaying unprofessionalism on and off set. Yeah, excuse a fake Darmon fan. We take complaints seriously and try to ensure every person has the best experience possible in working with us. The head of production is a 25-year-old kid with no experience. That's who they walked out on. They don't pay overtime for actors and pay them under the table on PayPal. Darmon fires actors, asks for a pay raise. Lives to regret it. Darmon says the protesting yesterday interfered with 2 of their productions. Yesterday, a group of protesters interfered with 2 of our productions. We want to apologize to the crew members and actors affected by these protesters. We want to thank you all for your support and understanding. More information can be found in our stories. Hey, Darmon fans. Myth number 1. Darmon did not show up to a meeting he promised he would attend. Bro, his response is like also in the form of a Darmon video. What? How is that wrong though? This dude's probably busy with other shit, so he had his other employees talk to them. Bro, come on, dude. That's like a fucking workplace dispute. Of course, if you don't handle it, especially at a company that's not that large, a workplace dispute, you're gonna get fucking your ass eaten. His brain only works in this format. Yeah. The protesters are his actors.
And having no bullets in the mag, right? You have all the ammo you need, like the hours that were required for you, the salary you were given, and then the industry standard. Then you fire that, you win, right? Then your point comes across, and everybody understands you. If you say, yo guys, I'm not paid enough, lol, I can't pay rent, lol. If you talk, you're fired, lol. What? I didn't see any proof of that at all, anywhere. So how can I make a good thing about this?
Well, because that's not the point of the thing. Again, them not being able to, it's not like they're surprised. You're right, they're contractors. They knew what they were getting paid getting into it. They want, since this is scaled up so much, to talk about altering that pay. Just like you've mentioned the word adaptive. Like, you've used the word adaptive a lot when talking about your editors. They would like to adapt their pay to the more work they put in, and they're not able to, which is why they're doing this. It's not... they are not caught off guard. They are not surprised by what they're getting paid. They did agree to it, but they would like to talk about changing it around a bit more to reflect.
Oh my God, this chat is insane, dude. Fucking juicers are unhinged, bro. He said adapt and chat's throwing up papelas. Jesus Christ, bro.
The scale and reflect how much they've put in. Like, I think there's a big disconnect on the core problem that you're overlooking here. It's not so much, I have to take their word that they can't afford rent and they're eating fucking cat food. It's, okay, they'd like to change their pay and they're getting fired for even mentioning it. That's the issue. It's not, like, you don't need, if you don't believe that they're not getting paid enough, that's fine. Because that's not the issue. It's, they can't even talk about it without getting fired.
Okay, fair enough. I feel, okay, I hate to say it, I feel like the result of the product is irrelevant if the quality expected from the workers is the same as the quality that was expected initially. Okay? If I want you, okay, to spit my...
Wait, he literally doesn't abide by this. If his pay for his editors have scaled as his content has grown, he literally doesn't abide by this principle. It's not like his editors are doing anything better. What? He doesn't pay his editors? He does.
My face for $100 an hour right now, right? You do that, you spit on it, bang, 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 bang. But then it becomes an art form, and now I'm making it $1 billion a year. From the pictures of my face with spit on it, should you be paid more? I disagree 100%.
You are under no obligation to pay me more for spitting in your face. This is what a wild example. You're under no obligation to pay me more for spitting in your face or tongue punching you or whatever. But if I approached you like, hey, this is scaled up a lot, I'm spitting in your face a lot, can we at least talk about maybe getting me on some kind of different deal? I would expect you to not spit in my face and kick me out of the fucking door for even asking. And then you replace me with someone else whose spit isn't nearly as viscous.
I think this is such an interesting, oh my God, what an interesting fucking debate. I really did not think Moist Critical would be arguing like this. Because like what XQC's saying is just capitalism brain, okay? What he's saying, actually, when you have this conversation, of course, comes across as immoral. To this community, to members of this community, of course it comes across as immoral because you're leftist, right? But the reality of the situation is like what XQC is implying or what XQC is mentioning here is the norm. You pay your workers what you can get away with paying them, right? And it doesn't matter how much more profit you're generating off of them, as long as their work stays the same, as long as their work doesn't scale up, then you don't pay them more. Now, I'll take it one step further. As a matter of fact, she also mentioned this part of it, where if they are also replaceable, then you can also justify paying them even less, right? And he's not wrong. He's not wrong. That is literally how this works, which is why, like, I guess getting a good boss and being lucky in that regard is like, I guess, having a boss like Moist Critical, where you understand that, but you still scale your employees' pay off of the output or off of like, your profits, regardless of whether or not their workflow is higher or lower. You know? But what's interesting about it is that he's arguing on the other side of it. He's arguing on the other side of this conversation, but he doesn't even personally do that in his real life. Like,
or something, right?
Yeah.
He's just being like a debate lord contrarian. And in Moist's situation, he could have just like very easily been like, but you just said you don't do that.
That's how it should work.
I will agree with half of the video then, because I have enough information to know that there's an ongoing problem and a unwillingness to fix a problem, but I cannot agree.
By the way, I'll take it even one step further. You know, in XQC's case, he's the primary worker. So he especially doesn't even have to do that with his own editors, because that's the truth. In XQC's situation, we're Twitch streamers, right? Like, we are literally, we are making most of the content. It's our face, it's our likeness, it's the content that we're like, it's the content that we're creating. And then the editors are basically modifying it, okay? They're basically modifying it and generating additional value off of that, right? And so in his situation, he even has more of a reason not to pay his editors well in comparison to Darmon's situation, where like there is no Darmon product without all of the other actors. Does that make sense? And of course they're adding value. Of course they're adding value.